Hi, Christina. So, Christina is asking me to explain how I went from, according to her, basically homeless in New York City to having an apartment and a car in Georgia and an apartment in a senior community. I'd be happy to explain, Christina. Let me start by giving you a little background information about me. So, when I was 15, I had my first child in a small city, Dayton, Ohio, and it was scandalous, as you can imagine. But now I'm 57 years old, and sometimes when I go home, there are still people who see me as the 15-year-old teenager who had a baby. What I learned from that experience is that some people tend to leave you where they found you. I used to try to prove myself and try to show them how I've changed and how I'm okay and how I'm successful. It never worked. They just see me as a 15-year-old teenage pregnancy scandal. And that's okay. It's not my responsibility to change anybody. So I think what's happening here is I think you see me as a homeless person in New York and are struggling to figure out why I'm different. That's what I think. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I don't mind at all. But to answer your question, yes, I was homeless in New York City. I was homeless for 9 months and living in a domestic violence shelter. The homeless shelter system in New York, there's an official name, I can't think of it now, but they helped me to get on my feet. I had a housing advocate that helped me find my apartment. I lived in my apartment after 9 months in the shelter. I lived in my apartment for 2 years. My apartment was subsidized, and meaning it was based on my income, and I spent that time starting my cleaning business. I started a cleaning business, I saved my money, I improved my credit, and then I moved back to Atlanta. I'm not sure how to explain living in a senior residence building, but um, I I put in an application and I moved in. This building is for people 55 and over. I'm 57, so I'm not sure how to answer that part. Here I am. As far as having a car in Atlanta is not a really big deal. It's I think it's a big deal in New York. I had a car when I moved to New York, but it wasn't feasible to bring it with me because, New York. I had a van actually, and I gave my van to one of my soul daughters when I moved to New York. And I knew when I came back to Atlanta, I was going to need a car. Public transportation is not the way that it is in New York, so I got a car. So basically, what I'm trying to say is yes, I was homeless, but I didn't have to stay there. I was homeless and I got my shit together. I could be homeless again. I hope not, but it could happen again. But shit happens, and things get better if you work hard. And I worked hard, and I got a lot of support. So I hope that answers your question. If you wanted to ask me something more specifically, by all means, I'm an open book.